Hello, Vishar. Welcome to the Get Up Full Mindset podcast.
Hi.
I appreciate you taking the time today to come and talk to me.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. I guess the first thing I really want to ask is how did you start all this? I read up obviously a little bit about you, and one of the things I saw is that you just Googled problems in the world.
Yeah, I'm Vishar.
Yeah.
I built a dental company called Toothpod. It's a dental smart gum to clean your teeth when you don't have access to a toothbrush or toothpaste.
hmm
I don't have one with me. This is what it looks like.
It's
It says
beautiful packaging.
we have you covered. So essentially, my background's in public health, and I
hmm
studied health studies and psychology at the University of Toronto. I got my Bachelor of Science there, and when I was in university, I was googling top problems in the world, and I was in an accelerator competition. I had like 24 hours to solve a problem, and
Yeah.
I ended up. It's so interesting talking about the story over and over and over again, but when I look at like the depth of how it all began, it was really me sitting on a computer thinking about how do I want to intentionally exist in the world and how do I want to move through the world
hmm
and how do I want to live my day to day. And it always went back to, well, I want to work on a problem that everybody experiences. I want to work on something that is going to touch so many lives in a positive way, in an impactful way, which is really why I started thinking about like, what is the largest problem in the world, which most and everybody experiences. And that was cavities at the time. Number two problem, it was one, two, number two was cavities. Um, and it was the most prevalent chronic disease in the world. And
Which is
so,
which is crazy because I
yeah.
never would have guessed that.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. I wouldn't either. I remember seeing the stat being like, what? Because I always thought it was like cardiovascular disease
Yeah.
or it now it is. I think now
I'm sure it
cardiovascular
shifts every year.
takes a high poverty was number one, which I suspected. I worked with communities that didn't have access to clean water in Ecuador when I was 16. And so that gave me a taste of, wow, there's a lot of problems in the world, and poverty for sure is one of them. Lack of clean, accessible water is one of them. Cavities was not my first guess, but I think that's why I wanted to approach it because it's the most preventable disease. And I
Yes.
think at the time I was trying to think about what are things that are very preventable? How can you prevent something from happening? And cavities was definitely one of them because most people experience a cavity by the time they're an adult. And a lot of kids have cavities. So that's how I ended up here, I guess.
And have you always had an entrepreneurship kind of mindset?
Yeah, I mean, I was like 12. I, moved to Canada and I was like, how am I going to do the thing that I love? And so, like, I liked walking dogs back then. And so I would knock on every apartment door and say, I can walk your dog for like 25 cents an hour.
Yeah.
And at this time, I would just have these small businesses. When I was 16, I was building a fundraising app. I also was knocking on thousands of doors, raising money for charity.
hmm
And so there was just so much that I did in terms of like, how do I just do the thing that I want to create impact for? Like when I was thinking about how do I raise money for charity, I wouldn't do the thing everybody else did. I was like, okay, how can I raise the most amount of money? Okay, this is how I'm going to do it by just knocking on doors. This is my highest accessible point at the age of 14.
hmm
And so I guess that spirit has always been there. And my dad is an entrepreneur. So I've watched him build, everything from scratch as an architect from like the age of 10 all the way to now. So I guess I mirrored it in a way. Yeah.
hmm
And yeah, so I guess maybe always there was something. And I didn't come into Toothpod being like, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. That's not what it was. It was how do I do the thing I want to do as fast as possible without any barriers,
hmm
without a degree. A degree, literally, I was
How can
18.
I just go?
Yeah, how can I just do the thing? And I had no limitations at the time. Like I wasn't thinking like an adult. I was a kid.
hmm
I wasn't like, oh, I don't have a dentistry degree. I don't have scientific background. I don't have, I was kind of like, I just want to do it and I'm going to get as much help as I humanly need
Yeah.
from all the people who have the knowledge to be able to do it.
Mhm.
And so I had a really amazing community of people who were able to help me at the University of Toronto that really supported me, that helped me pitch, helped me raise money, helped
Mhm.
me, invested in my company.
Mhm.
I invested in an idea really. Um, and so I took responsibility to that because, people really believed. And I think
Mhm.
people believing in you is so powerful
Of
because
course.
you just know that you can run through a wall.
Yeah.
If someone says you can do it, you'll find a way to do it.
Yeah, yeah. It's true. They give you that little extra juice in your
Yeah.
battery for the
Yeah.
days that you're tired. So how was that explained to your family that you wanted to fix cavities and you wanted to help people have cleaner mouths
Yeah.
and that's a big thing, you know?
Yeah. How did I explain to them? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
I can't remember. I don't even think I told them.
You just did it.
Yeah, until I was like, "Oh, guys, I think I won $10,000 to do this thing." And they're like, well, I think the initial prize that I won was $1,000. And
Mhm.
I went home and I was like, "Oh my God, look what I won. This is so
Yeah.
fun." My family was like, this was like the 30th award I'm bringing home. So to them, they're like saying the same thing. They're like, "Congratulations. We're
This
so
is
proud of you,
amazing.
support you." And
Yeah.
they've always been so supportive, but it wasn't something like out of the blue. Like
Mhm.
sometimes I'll come home and I'm like, "Oh my God, guys, like I forgot to tell you, like 2 weeks ago, I was on Bannon and Bloomberg." And they're like, "Why don't you tell us these things? Like this
Yeah,
is."
yeah.
So I think in our family, I guess like you're not defined by your accomplishments,
Mhm.
and um, it's always been a practice. So I guess I don't even remember. I literally don't think I told them. I was just casually like, guys, other than the $1,000, that I for sure did. That I
Yeah.
came home, I was so happy. I was like, oh my God. The
Yeah.
rest, I think I just did it until we hit a point where I was like, guys, I think we raised like hundreds and thousands of
Mhm.
dollars.
Mhm.
And my mom is like, when did this happen? When did you do this?
Mhm. Yeah. That's an interesting conversation.
Yeah.
Um,
And we're very close and we talk like every day. But I think not about business, just about life and not
well,
about.
because you are like family, right? So you talk
Yeah,
about everyday things and everything like that. So that would make sense. I want to ask you, so what is like a problem that dentists understood, but the average person didn't about cavities that you wanted to fill that gap?
The average dentist did or didn't understand.
Did understand, right? Because
Yeah. So
I feel like you're really trying to be that middle ground of like really teaching that everyday person like about this and about that. So
yeah.
what did you want to really tell the average person about cavities and teach them quick? Because I feel like a lot of people hesitate to go to the dentist. They really don't want to go to the dentist, right?
Yeah, I think the reason why Toothpod started
Hmm.
was because I was digging through problems of why do people still have cavities,
Okay.
even though we've had toothbrushes since 3000 BC. That has always been my pitch. It has never changed over the past 5 years because it's the thing that makes me most curious. Why
Hmm.
do we still have cavities, even though we've had toothbrushes since 3000 BC? And that's very real because it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that we've had these modalities for a long time, but cavities are still the most prevalent chronic disease. Genetics cannot explain all of it. It doesn't.
Hmm.
And so it's the lifestyle. It's the
So I was going to
we're
ask you, what
consuming.
is that answer?
The answer is that we're consuming so much sugar. We're consuming more sugar than we can handle. We're not brushing effectively or properly. One, because we don't want to,
What do you
and
mean
two,
by that?
because
We don't want to.
a lot of us, a lot of people care about their oral hygiene. They care and want to have clean teeth, but they don't want to take their toothbrush with them into an airplane bathroom. They just, that's my like honest. A lot of this comes from a qualitative, a qualitative, not a quantitative perspective. A qualitative perspective of everybody I've ever spoken to has this like, I'm like, "Well, why don't you take your toothbrush with you to the bathroom at work?
Hmm.
Why don't you
Hmm.
take your toothbrush?" And some people do. Some people are super serious about it and they're like very rigorous. And I love that for them.
Yeah, yeah.
Most people don't. And that's where the want is. Like they don't want to carry and brush their teeth in public. because the modality in which we offer oral hygiene has always been a sink, running water, and a toothbrush and a toothpaste, which is the most effective, which is why we keep doing it. But it doesn't mean that it's working at every point in our day. And that really iterates that, like, you can only have oral hygiene when you have a sink and running water.
Mm,
It iterates that over and over again. And so I was just like, we've been so futuristic about so many things. Why not this?
yeah.
And so that's kind of why it was built in a portable way. And it
Mhm,
doesn't replace brushing at all. It will
mhm.
not do that, right? That's not the
I
purpose.
appreciate though how
Yeah.
you're really trying to explain that because, when I was telling other people, they're like, "Wait, so I don't I'm like, "No, no, no, no. She's not saying that. She's just trying to increase your chances of having, dental hygiene and stuff like that."
Yes, exactly. It's a supplement for when you don't have access. It's
Mhm.
not if you have access, brush your teeth, please. On the box it says
Which is crazy to say.
toothbrush. Like on the box, the first thing
Yeah.
it says is toothbrush, toothpaste, toothpod. I have placed it on our packaging
Yeah.
so people are aware of the importance of brushing. It does not replace, like, if you have a toothbrush and a toothpod with you, brush your teeth, then chew a toothpod. You will
Mhm.
have extra benefits all over.
There you go.
Um, but yeah, it really comes from that place of why haven't we thought of a different modality to have oral hygiene? We have gum, but that's not oral hygiene. That's masking bad breath. Now we have sugarless gum, which is amazing. We're doing something. Um, but so what Toothpod does is deliver oral hygiene function through the mechanism of a chewing gum. The mechanism will change. It won't forever be gum. But right now it's doing it through a mechanism in which people understand and can chew and experience.
Mhm. What surprised you with how people use it?
What has surprised me?
Have you gotten, like, an interesting story?
Tons, yeah. I don't
Yeah?
think anything has been surprising.
No, oh, really? Okay, that's good, I
Yeah, like
guess.
we tested this with like 500 people before we gave it out. It
Mhm,
wasn't I wasn't coming into it. We came in like very well researched. We researched it. We did so much R&D. We did so many like feedback groups before we launched it into market. Everything there's surprising elements of like who's buying it. I'm like, oh, I
e
didn't know like
elaborate on that.
moms with kids are
Mm,
so into they're like, I just sent this with my kid who went to, like buy 100 pieces of candy at the grocery store or something like that. I just dropped this in their bags.
and they
So
just
that was a very interesting one. Dentists really love it, which was also an interesting one because
I was gonna ask about dentists because initially, it could seem like you're trying to take away them coming to them, I guess, right? The
I thought
consumer,
that as a
but
kid. I thought that as a kid. And then I
correct, yeah.
came into the real world and I was like, these are just people. They're healthcare practitioners. They
Mhm,
care about their patients. Yes, they cut and drill and heat, like help, you know, with patients' cavities. But I don't think I've talked to a single dentist who's like, I want my patients to have more cavities. No, it's never been like that. And I know that that's maybe what we think because we pay so much for the dentist and we're like, oh my gosh, we're paying so much for the dentist. But every dentist who I have interacted with,
mhm.
even the ones who care more about monetary value than, you know, bringing products into their clinic, for example, even then, they're still not like, we want patients to have, they, they, they also have, they took an oath too. They're
Yeah, for
responsible
sure.
for patients' health, and we often ignore that. And they are incredibly good people trying to help patients. And I think um, there's a stigma around dentists because it's so expensive. And
Mhm.
because the government, especially in Canada, for example, will cover healthcare, but not dental care. And so
Which is
even
very
the way
interesting.
that we've structured it, even the way the government has structured it, now there's a lot more money coming into taking care of patient health and dentistry, which is so
Yep,
amazing. Um, but even the way that it's structured, it's not covered under OHIP, for example, right? So,
mhm.
um, but yeah, dentists do want the best for their patients, and we have seen that they buy thousands of toothpods for their clinics, and they'll have it on their counters. They'll give it out to patients. Is extremely, like they're like, we want our patients to have the best product.
Hmm.
And Toothpod sources all of its ingredients. They're all pure, natural, like really amazing ingredients in the active ingredients that are really good for anti-inflammatory and antimicrobial and remineralizing agents. Like dentists will message me and say, "Oh, this is great for patients with dry mouth. This is great for patients with Invisalign, like in between their meals. This is great for patients who, kids who don't brush their teeth." So they really see that. They fill in the gaps of, oh my God, this is where my patient could use this, and I'm going to provide this for them.
Interesting. So, walk me through like the ideal use, right? So, for how long? What should somebody feel happening
So
when
when
they?
you chew it initially, it's crumbly, and
Okay.
the crumbliness is likely when the actives are released, and then it turns into a normal gum. So 5 to 10 minutes you chew it, and the effects are there. Your pH when you drink coffee is normally at a 5.5,
Hmm.
and when you chew Toothpod, it goes up to an 8.4.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So it helps a lot. How like is there a preferred how long to chew it for?
How long?
Yeah,
Yeah, 5 to 10 minutes.
5 to 10 minutes, and
Yeah.
then you can throw it out.
Normally people will chew it for like an hour,
Yeah.
but some people that are not gum chewers, they'll chew it for 5 minutes.
Okay, but it's not no negative effects for chewing it longer.
No, your tongue will feel so scraped clean if you chew it for an hour. I think I
Hmm.
chewed it post my flight after 2 a.m. and I was like, oh my God, this is why I created this product.
Why?
It
What did
just
you
like,
feel?
it all clicked to me. I hadn't experienced my own product like that. And I was like, whoa, this is cool.
Yeah, well, that's amazing. And then, I was reading too. So, what role does hydroxyapatite? Is that the correct way to?
Hydroxyapatite, yeah.
In your.
Hydroxyapatite has specific ingredients in it that bind to the calcium in your saliva, and
Hmm.
hydroxyapatite itself binds to the calcium in your saliva, and it helps rebuild your enamel, which is something your body naturally can't do on its own. There's a lot of research in fluoride between fluoride and hydroxyapatite, and there's a lot of states and there's a lot of places, for example, that don't believe in or agree with fluoride, and so the alternative that sometimes they use is hydroxyapatite. And hydroxyapatite is extremely common in Japan. This active ingredient is what helps build a protective layer on your teeth, which is your enamel.
Hmm.
And it almost, there's like these holes on your teeth, and they
Hmm.
make the holes smaller. So
Hmm.
it's not like, the magic isn't like builds a thing. That's how it's normally described, I guess, in marketing. But like the actual deep science of it is that um, there's all these holes on your enamel, and it makes it smaller. And so there's
Interesting.
less, you have less teeth sensitivity. That's why they recommend a lot of Sensodyne toothpaste, for example, and things like that.
Hmm. So, how long should a person really try out Toothpod to, see positive effects? Would you suggest
The first time they chew it, they'll experience like a cleanliness feeling.
in their mouth? Yeah.
For remineralization, I would say chewing multiple times a day for at least 3 months is really important. For anti-inflammatory and antimicrobial, we're doing a lot of research on the timing. So effects are typically shown within 3 to 7 days, really.
Hmm. Wow,
Um,
that's quick.
yeah, but they're not so significant. You need to keep
Hmm.
up with um chewing it.
Yeah.
So it can continue to help your enamel, your gums, and the bacteria. You're eating every day. So it's not like you chew toothpod and then you stop eating. You're just going to keep eating. And so
Yeah.
even when you breathe, like if most people are mouth breathers, like they
Yeah.
breathe through their mouth. And so that's where there's a lot of bacteria that comes in.
Hmm.
And we don't talk about that often. And so that's what you need, products that help balance that oral microbiome. And Toothpod is a
Interesting.
great way to do it. There's other products out there that do it too.
Hmm.
Um, but being very consistent with it, you'll see effects of it um, fairly soon. But this is what we're testing in our clinical trials right now. So we have clinical studies happening with 60 healthy periodontal patients in the US right now. And This is at one of the top universities in Boston, and we are testing specifically a group that's just brushing their teeth, that's just chewing Toothpod and just chewing the regular gum base. So you're seeing exactly how long, and you're taking data points every day, right? You're taking data points day 1, day 7, day 14, and then you just keep going. The remineralization is the thing that takes the longest, right? Because for you to have if you have lesions and for you to reverse those, you can't reverse cavities, but you can reverse white spot lesions, which is, it's not a cavity yet. And that's really where it's super helpful because it has that hydroxyapatite in it and you're consistently chewing it 2-3 times a day. But if you're doing it for the purpose of just cleaning your teeth, if you're on an airplane, that's a very different story. Clinically, it's a whole separate uh, set of instructions, I guess.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
would you suggest then, like, let's say somebody went for Greek food and then they're about to have a meeting, a very important meeting face to face.
for sure.
Um,
They could chew it. Takes
it
like
chew- ru-
onion breath away.
yeah,
It's strong.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So you
It's
would
not
really,
like we didn't make it a strong mint, like there's like super strong icy mint. We
Mhm,
didn't make it like that because a lot of kids chew it. So you want to create a balance between, you're an early stage startup. You have to serve so many different
for
markets at the
sure.
beginning to figure out your niche. And so that iciness isn't there, but it will take onion breath away, which is some feedback I've heard from a lot of our consumers
That's
and
that,
customers.
that's awesome. So,
Yeah,
I also read that magnolia bark is in yours, but I've also read that's also like not a mainstream oral care kind of thing that people put in. So why did you put that in then?
it's a really strong anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial.
Okay.
So we drive fully naturally, like sourced from literally a tree bark.
Yep,
um,
awesome.
yeah, it's very uh if you have like really bad bacteria, it removes the bad bacteria, but keeps some of the good ones. It
Mm,
increases it actually. There's an increase in good, like bacteria in your mouth because you need them. There's all types of bacteria in your mouth. You can get rid of all of them. Some of them are
mhm,
really good for you. And
mhm.
so magnolia bark does that really well and it keeps that balance.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And then the last thing I wanted to ask was xylitol. Xylitol?
Yeah, it has xylitol as well.
Yeah. And so talk to me about the responsibility of xylitol in it also. What does that help with?
Amazing for it most sugarless gums you see, it's the active ingredient in all sugarless gum is xylitol. It's not an active ingredient, it's a sugar-free alternative. But xylitol was like when it all started in sugarless
Okay.
gum industry, I think.
Oh, really?
Um, yeah, I think there's a lot of history into it. I definitely won't get into it. But it's a really amazing sugar alternative
Mm,
and it helps with cavities. It helps reduce cavities. There's been tons of studies that show that xylitol does that. That's why every sugarless gum in the market now has xylitol in it.
mhm.
And they say it's cavity prevention. Some of them have cavity prevention claims because specifically of xylitol. I did a whole undergrad um, thesis project on xylitol sugarless gum and um, read all the different types of bacteria that it helps reduce. There's just tons of it's a really
Information
good
on.
ingredient. There is controversy. It is controversial, specifically because if you take loads of xylitol, it's not necessarily great for your gut. Like if you're taking spoonfuls of xylitol, like that's not great for you. But the dosage, if it's low, it can be really good for your oral hygiene as long as you're not taking spoonfuls and spoonfuls of, every day of xylitol. That
Yeah.
can sometimes upset some people's stomach.
So the idea is to have the max dosage at the lowest, max effects at the lowest dosage in your gut.
Yeah, the dosage is so little in sugarless gum. I don't,
Almost
unless your
minuscule.
stomach is very sensitive.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So how is the flavoring system?
It's
How is
peppermint.
oh, I love peppermint. How is being able to flavor all those things into those minerals? Did you find it hard to mix and match or?
Yeah, we had to work with 2, 3 different flavor scientists. And then the one we worked with had 20 years of just flavor, she's been a flavor scientist for like 20 years.
Mhm.
So she really was able to help us out find the right flavor. But it's tough because sometimes you can get like the raw pure ingredients can sometimes be bitter.
Mhm.
And that's sometimes what people will taste. But it masks really well with xylitol because xylitol is very sweet. Like when you chew Toothpod, like kids will describe it as cotton candy or
Oh, really?
blueberry. That you know what? That did surprise me. You asked me what surprised me. That surprised me. I was
Yeah.
like, cotton candy? That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, so yeah, it was hard, but doable when you have the right person who's had 20 years of experience masking different flavors
Yeah,
and
yeah, of
knowing the right
course.
amounts.
Interesting. So what does it actually take to take your product into dental offices? Do you have it in dental offices right now?
Yeah, we work with one of the largest dental supply organizations with over 400 dental clinics.
Mhm.
And we went through the dental supply organization route. We didn't
Mhm.
go through individual offices, though
Mhm.
individual offices will still order, and we um, still provide Toothpod to individual offices. A
Mhm.
lot of it comes from we just shipped to 1,000 hygienists across the country last week, and it all comes from that DSO model. So I guess what it takes is really just the right partnerships in place to be able to distribute properly. At an early stage company, it's all about distribution.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Did you have any objections earlier on?
Tons. Where's the
Tons?
research? Where's the product? We didn't have product. We didn't have product. It
Mhm.
was very hard to do so much when you don't have product and an idea. And then once we had product, it was much easier because then people would try it and we would go to conferences and then our first customers came to be, our partnerships came to be. Honestly, conference is what changed so much of our pathway. Just going to a conference with our customers. That was like the best thing we did. Because it was it, all of our target customers and target market was in one place. So you can
Mm.
learn a lot by just like talking to people,
What
giving them
was the
product to try.
what was the first conference that you really felt like you were getting traction?
Chicago Midwinter,
Mhm.
which was like a dental conference in 2024.
And you felt like you really made an impact, really giving them that vision of what you guys are doing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was hard because I would walk into a room and I wasn't a dentist. I was a kid.
Mm, yeah.
So it just took a lot of confidence to be like, there's science behind this and you did so much work for this. So go into a room and ask for feedback, even if it's scary. And so went into the room and, you know, gave my product out to people. They were trying it. And at the end of the conference, people were like, oh my God, you guys are the gum. Like, do you have any more? And so the word of mouth spread very quickly. And that
Yeah.
was really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I want to ask you, what is the most difficult part? Formulation, manufacturing, regulation, distribution? What did you find the most difficult?
All of them.
All of them. None
Yeah.
of them stand out. Just all of them were just on the
All of
even
them are
footing.
equally hard. Um, Manufacturing, we were with the wrong, like we were in contract negotiations for a year with a manufacturer that we weren't aligned with. And we were trying to make it work. And then that was like a year of just being like, how much more work can we do if we don't have product?
Hmm.
So it was just a lot of spinning. And we didn't have contract experience. We couldn't pull the plug. We didn't have any, we we were very limited in the things we could do. Um,
Hmm.
and so that was really hard. Finding distribution was really hard. Again, it's like we have to go to conferences, but guess what? Conferences cost money. So you have to get grants to go to conferences. We got my tax grants, and that helped us so much to go to our first conference. That kickstarted everything off. So each of them have their own challenges. I
Hmm.
will say manufacturing has been the least problematic, thankfully. Knock on wood.
Yeah, that's good.
Knock on wood. We've produced 500,000 pieces of gum of Toothpod since like 3 weeks into launch.
Oh, really?
So, yeah,
So it's
we
been awesome.
launched a month and a half ago. We've produced over 500,000. We've produced almost 500,000 pieces of gum now, which is crazy.
Now,
Um,
does the ingredients that you have in Toothpod, is there a disparity in those ingredients, or there is really an abundance? Like, there's no scarcity in it? You know, when people outsource, like, for example, during COVID, creatine was prices were going higher because there was becoming a disparity in how much people were being able to buy for product production. Did you find any of that or no?
Interesting. I haven't noticed. I feel like I should.
Uh,
I definitely will look into it. That's not something I've looked into at all in terms of you're talking about the pricing of the active ingredients?
Correct. Yeah.
The prices haven't been different on our end.
Mm,
This is not something you naturally go and buy at the grocery store either. You know, like creatine is not a supplement you just like creatine is a supplement you consume. It's
hmm
your powder form.
hmm
These ingredients are not like that in the market right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's probably why I don't. I mean, I'm actually going to look into this now, but this is not your typical you go into the grocery store and there's like magnolia bark extract sitting there.
Yeah, you can't go to, let's say,
Yeah.
Healthy Planet or
Yeah.
GNC or whatever and go get that.
Yeah.
These are very specific. I was just curious if there was a scarcity at all when it comes to these ingredients. That's all.
I hope not.
No, I hope
Yeah.
not too. It seems like a beautiful package together and everything like that, and I think, I don't know, I think you have a really great thing on your hands. That being said, when you create the package is so clean and it's so, like, direct. How did that come about? Like, one, the name, and then also creating that package.
We had a brilliant designer. His name was Barry, and
Yeah.
he is phenomenal. Designed the logo, worked with us for so many months, put so much energy and effort into making it come to life.
Mm,
And it came to be like this because of his work.
it's
I did
beautiful.
obviously a lot of work adjusting and making sure it fits within the manufacturing guidelines. I became like an Adobe pro. Um, I maybe spent like 7 straight days every day working on design. Um, but the logo and the format and the beauty of the package comes from an artist, truly. He did such incredible work for some of the biggest Fortune 500 companies, and, um, we were able to, thankfully work with him, and, I was very specific on design, very specific. I was like, I don't want someone who doesn't understand my vision and has artistic, like beautiful artistic abilities to put real art behind it. Like if you notice, like the logo
Hmm
is is this, right? But it's top of a tooth.
hmm
Like this is like top of a like if
hmm
you look at a tooth from
It's
a
details, intricacy,
yes, yes. So it's not I wanted it to be tooth related, but not tooth. I
direct.
didn't want it to be tooth. And so that's why we came up with this. There was so many different options, but that this one stood out to me most. So it's cool.
It's awesome. So what are you building next? Any product line, partnerships,
For
something
sure,
else?
I'm thinking
Something
of
that you
a
could talk
product
about. I'm
line.
sure there's a lot of
Right
things in the
now,
pipeline. Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
staying locked in on Toothpod. So,
Okay.
um, just really working to make sure that this is a product people want. This is a product people, you know, can benefit from.
hmm
And once I figure all of that out, I think the next product will be a very exciting one.
Yeah, you already have it in your mind, don't you?
I have like a whole line of 10, but
I can't
I
wait.
can't indulge. I cannot
I know
indulge.
that's fair. That's fair. You have to go one step at a time. Yeah,
I
that's awesome. How has it been? Because I saw something you posted, like, uh you wanted to do all these things, but you didn't expect to be, quote unquote, a social media person and posting videos and all that stuff. How does that shift? Because even though you have an amazing product and it's, the proof is in the pudding, you still need to put yourself out there. Did you find that that was a bit of a transition for you? Did you have to learn how to do some social media stuff, or you just kind of had some people help you?
I don't think it was a big transition,
Hmm
but it was definitely hard one. It wasn't a
hmm
big. It was like I've already made content. I know how to make content. It was
Mhm.
okay, now I have to make content every day.
Yeah.
And I have to make content intentionally, and that's hard. You have to plan, you have to find the right hook and the right
Yeah.
audience and who you're speaking to, the right platform. Is it on Instagram? Is it on TikTok? There's just it's very overwhelming when you're running a business because you're like, okay, great. I need to do this thing now because this is the staple of how every business is growing.
Right now, yeah.
Most businesses are growing, and I also have all the operational stuff. I have a team to manage. I have to make sure everyone has what they need. I have to make sure I'm, you know, creating the design. Like now, as we're printing like new packs right now, and
Mhm.
I've become a full-time designer. So I'm
Yeah,
like, okay,
you're the
I'll
Adobe Pro.
content and be a full-time designer. So the transition itself wasn't there it wasn't really a transition, but it was hard to digest that the volume of it is going high.
Yeah,
Um and that there's not enough time. There's literally not enough time.
never
Um
is.
yeah.
How do you how do you just be a person? You're so busy. You're very, you're very go getting. But how do you balance just being you?
Point of owning your business is that you own your time. So if my brother comes up to me at 2 p.m. in the afternoon and says, "Can we grab tea?" I will always say yes. I will always say yes. My mind may be a little all over the place, but I will always make time for what I prioritize in my head. And I think people forget why they start their own business. And, it's to remind yourself that you own your time. You create your own impact. You
Mhm.
create your own space. I think just giving life space is really important. And that doesn't mean like don't work or do work 24/7. That stuff doesn't matter. Like it depends on your goals, what season you're in, what era you're in, all of that. But I think
Mhm.
what will always matter is that you understand in that moment exactly what you need and how you're going to get there and what you need to prioritize in those moments. So if I have a busy season, I will still always spend time with my family because that's what's important to me. Long term, it will never change. Now, maybe I'm doing less of, I'm not working out 7 days a week. I'm working out like 3 days a week. Like you adjust based on where you're at in the business.
Mhm.
And on launch season,
Mhm.
like I'm not necessarily going to be like, okay, I'm going to work out every day, journal every day, spend time with family every day. Like it's not like that. It's okay. I'm going to make sure I get one-on-one quality time with my dad, one-on-one quality time with my mom once a week because I'm in a busy season, but I'm going to make sure it's high quality. I'm highly present. I do all my work the night before so I can show up fully present. The key that I have found in this life that is crazy and chaotic is to do things that truly make you feel present. That
Mhm.
means do the work, do the work to find deep presence and like actually be here. When I'm talking to you, I'm not thinking about 500 other things. I'm here. And so if you have that with everything, life is very enjoyable and it's very beautiful and it's very cool. And we're not always good at it, but that doesn't mean we can't keep trying and keep doing it like that.
Mhm.
In my personal opinion, some people
I
don't
no,
think like
I fully agree with you. And have you always been so self-understanding?
Um, 18 probably. I started going to therapy when I was 18. And so it just like understanding your needs and your wants and your desires and protecting your energy, protecting your calendar, protecting your space, protecting your way of being. I think that stuff came later, but awareness started to wrinkle in at 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. COVID hit. You're now learning like, how do I be alone? How do I
You deal with
live in
anxiety at
chaos?
this
How do I live
or
in crisis?
Mhm.
Um, so I think that has been the most valuable asset in building the business.
Yeah, I can feel it. I can sense it. So,
When I was 18 and I would procrastinate, the business would slow down.
yeah. Yeah.
When I was 22 and I would spin around and not make decisions fast enough, the business would spin around. So
Yeah.
you are the business at an early stage. If you're not willing to do the work for yourself, your business will very much so reflect as though you are,
I think
in
I
my
agree.
personal opinion.
I think that's a beautiful point of view, and I wholeheartedly agree with you. Okay, so to end off our little interview, what would you how would you describe yourself in one word?
Present.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
And what does the word alpha mean to you?
Strong, powerful. That's the
Um, well, I appreciate you coming on. I know you're a very, very busy woman, so I really appreciate you taking the time. For the people listening, where should they go?
toothpod.co.
Co. And then what? Just go in there and you order it.
You can see everything there. And if they want to connect with me as like founder conversations, I'm always on LinkedIn and it's my first and last name.
Love it. I appreciate it. I'm definitely going to be ordering some, and I can't wait to try it. My mom is so excited. She's like, "You need to order some for me right now." So
Oh my
I'm definitely
God.
going to order some, and I'll definitely text you my thoughts. But
Please, honest thoughts only.
always, 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 always. But I appreciate you, and I think you're chasing greatness, and I think you'll catch it.
Thank you. Thank you for your time. And
Of
this is
course, dude.
so lovely. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you. I'll talk to you soon, and
All
have
right.
a good day.
Bye.
Bye.